Little Symi might be small, but it sure knows how to make an entrance. This gem of a Dodecanese island is home to what's widely hailed as Greece's most picturesque port, and according to some well-read sources, boasts the most beautiful road in the world. Sailing into Symi feels like drifting into a postcard, with colorful neoclassical mansions and massive flags draped across the mountains welcoming you into the harbor. We've been hearing whispers about Symi's magic for years, and now it's finally our turn to explore this favorite hideaway of Greek island lovers. Most of the island's population is split between the charming port town and Ano Symi, a village perched just a hike up the aptly named Kali Strata, or good stairs. And trust me, they're good, but they'll make you earn that view.
Symi's beaches are the stuff of daydreams. Clear, deep waters right off the shore, perfect for snorkeling and discovering an underwater world. And since the island's roads are few and far between, the best way to get around the island is by hopping on one of the boat taxis, which is all a part of the fun. To really dive into the island's beaches, we jumped on a boat tour with Poseidon Daily Excursions and chatted with the ship's captain, Theo.
When you come in Symi first time, I think you look for something beautiful and different from other islands. We do all around the island Symi every day, around 120 times per season.
This boat trip gives you a great feel for Symi's natural beauty, with stops at several of its stunning beaches and even lunch cooked up by the crew on an uninhabited island. As the day winds down, the tour wraps up at Symi's most famous beach, making it the perfect mix of adventure and relaxation.
We go to sand resorts, and people, when they look this beach for first time, they say, wow, it's amazing there.
Symi might be small, but it's got a big heart. Many of the island's younger residents leave for work elsewhere. People like Theo can't stay away from its charm for long. It pulls you back, no matter where you go.
I stopped the other job in Athens and I came back to Symi because I love my island. I want to work here with our boat with my father.
After our beach hopping adventure, we headed back to the port town to dive deeper into Symi's history. We met with traditional sponge shop owners Panagiotis from long-running sponge fishing of Symi 1863 and Georgia from Dinos Sponge Center to learn more about the island's unique relationship with sponges.
We are a family business that we try to keep the tradition alive with the sponge fishing.
My grandfather opened the shop in 1939, my dad continued the job, and now it's me and my brother.
Here is the certificate of our grandfather of my mother, Theodoros. He was on the photo here. He's on the video also. The sponge fishing progress in the island of Symi beginning 1300.
The first island in the whole Greece that started the sponge diving, it was Symi.
In 1840, a sponge diver from Symi, Michalis Karanikis, he took an idea. Start to dive with a stone. He jumped from the boat with a stone and get very quickly down.
The period with the stone, the island with the more ships, it was Symi. It was the king of the sponges. Years after, it was the period of the scaphandro.
The first person that wearing the helmet was a woman in 1863, Evgenia Mavriou.
The period of the scaphandro, it was the best period of the island. And the most of the houses that you see around, it was made this period.
Symi had close to 620 boats and 30,000 people was living in the island.
The ships were bigger, the period of the scaphandro. You need more people. All these people paid by the sponges.
We was an autonomous and strong economy.
You bring it up like this.
How we clean them? We pressing many times this membrane. First get out a milk and the membrane. Inside of that membrane is the natural color like a honey.
After I have to be in the boat the same time to start the transforming. All these people built all the houses around.
How would you describe Symi now, since it's not all sponge divers, it's very tourist, right?
Now, yeah, we live because of the tourism. You can continue a tradition. If you love this job, you can continue it.
Sponge diving might not be active on Symi anymore, but the island's legacy lives on. Many Symiots took their trade across the world, settling in places like Tarpon Springs, Florida. But back on Symi, the passion to preserve the history is still going strong. Panagiotis showed me what makes Mediterranean sponges the creme de la creme of the sponge world.
That is the elephant ear. We call this because it have this shape. It's a sponge that is excellent for the face application. Katina, how is the feeling of that?
Like a pillow?
If we try to break that sponge,
Okay, try to break it.
yes, you see that it have very good resistance, so it doesn't break.
That's really
Hydrophilic, rich to a foam, honeycomb.
Oh, nice.
It's excellent for massage.
Oh, this feels really good. Is this one good for cleaning as well?
It's excellent for the body shower, about the resistance, the feeling. It's the king of sponges.
Yeah.
How about that? It's more silky.
Yeah. Oh,
It's the fine silk, excellent quality.
Yeah, this feels so soft.
And we have a sponge that looks like that, but it's not the same. That is the Mellissimo.
Oh my gosh.
It's the most rare sponge.
It's like a rabbit's ear, like that soft velvet.
Exactly.
One of the few roads on Symi leads to the island's famous monastery, a place that left a lasting impression on Katina when she took an excursion to Symi years ago.
On Symi, we're visiting the Monastery of the Archangel Michael. This is a really special monastery that many Orthodox Christians make a pilgrimage to in order to give an offering, a prayer, or to ask of something of the Archangel Michael. But what's miraculous about this monastery is many of the offerings that are in the monastery actually arrived right here in the bay of this monastery. I'm still in awe of the letters that miraculously find their way here. The last time I visited, it was just a day trip from Rhodes. So being able to fully experience Symi this time around was a game changer. On our last evening, Rhett and I sat on our balcony, soaking in our thoughts about this unforgettable island.
Little Symi.
Oh, Symi. Oh my
call it.
goodness.
One thing about Symi that's really cool is that the water is so beautiful here. And so many beautiful beaches that you can access by boat. It's so easy to take a taxi boat from beach to beach.
This harbor town has been beautiful.
The town looks so just immaculate, and then the huge flags of the Archangel Michael and the Greek flag, and it's just majestic.
The colors that they use here, they're just so vibrant and beautiful.
That were built by the sponge divers and in that era when the economy was booming.
Something that I thought was really cool about the history of sponge diving is it was actually a woman who took on innovations and using a dive helmet, which really helped improve the way that sponge divers were able to gather sponges.
But I really like that they are keeping the history alive, that they're selling sponges and educating people about the history of sponges here, and they're still very proud of their past. In Greece, every island has its own story, but it's the history that really sets them apart. Symi's charm is rooted in tradition, with a beauty that's been carefully preserved over a couple of centuries. Symi just isn't a pretty face. It's a place to soak up the past while walking around what truly is the most beautiful port in all of Greece.
Click here to join us as we continue exploring the stunning Greek islands.